and welcome to the Football Nation News. Your host Chris Watt here. So last week we had the sad news of Pele passing, the Brazilian legend who won 3 World Cups. Sadly lost his battle with cancer. Pele was world class, youngest player to ever win 3 World Cups back consecutively, and he was an absolute legend of the game who rewrote the rules, if you will, for how to play football. He was an ambassador for the game as well. He was an all-round fantastic person, and he was sadly missed. And everyone at the Football Nation podcast wishes his family and his friends the deepest sympathies. And also, again, more sad news regarding about David Gold. In our previous podcast on with DJ Russ from the West Ham Network, he paid his tributes to David Gold, the co-chairman, the co-owner of West Ham United, who again sadly lost his life due to a short illness. Again, everyone at the Football Nation podcast wishes his family the deepest sympathies and condolences. But going on to more news, it was we had the busy January kind of fixtures where we've seen Chelsea dropping more points to Nottingham Forest, and then obviously getting beat off of Manchester City as well, 2-0 on Thursday night there. It was poor. Chelsea need some luck with injuries. They've lost 2 players within the first 20 minutes. Christian Pulisic and Raheem Sterling both getting injured, so they've roughly got about 11 injuries now to first team players, which any team would struggle with, especially Graham Potter, who's under immense pressure at Chelsea. Manchester City dropped points against Everton last week, but then followed up with like I just said there, with the 2-0 victory over Chelsea. Liverpool dropping points against Brentford, which is not really surprising. Brentford are playing well this season. They're good. They're a stubborn team to beat, and they play some nice football as well under Thomas Frank. Also in the news as well, we've seen that Manchester United continue their great form as well. That Marcus Rashford has found a new lease of life under Ten Hag, which is good for him and good for England fans as well, because they've also got the Euro campaign starting up soon. With all that, we obviously had the FA Cup weekend as well, with some shocks, some fantastic games, like Wrexham versus Coventry, the 4-3. I had everything. I had a sending off, I had drama, I had passion. We had 5,000 Wrexham fans in the away end, creating some massive noise. And our newest member, Paul, the FM recruiter, he was at the game. Check out his TikTok and YouTube short on our channel as well. But yeah, it was fantastic to see that Wrexham are through to the next round, and they've got a home tie against Sheffield United as well, which will be another packed day out at the racecourse ground, which is a hard place to go to. But with that, I'm going to pass you over to my colleague Boom with the transfer news. My name's Chris Watt. Thank you very much for tuning in, and I'll see you next time.
New year, new transfers. Welcome to the Transfer Show with me, your host, Crazy Boob. And boy, do we have a lot to get into, so let us start. We start with a done deal, which is Badiashile to Chelsea from Monaco for 38 million. Unlike part of his name, this is not a bad deal, and the talented defender should be at the heart of Chelsea's defence for years to come. I can't wait to see him in the Premier League. Staying with Chelsea, we move on to a bit of negative transfer news, and that is their deal to sign Enzo Fernandez has very much collapsed. A bit like myself after running 12 laps of the pitch back in PE class. In a slight dig at Chelsea, but not mentioning them by name, the head coach of Benfica said they're disrespectful. They're leaving the player crazy, acted like they wanted to pay the release clause, and then just wanted to negotiate. It's safe to say that the relationship is not looking the very best. Now, staying in London, we move to Arsenal, where they have hit a setback in their pursuit of talented winger Mudryk, after the vice director of Shakhtar says they don't need the money and consider him better than United winger Antony, which means Arsenal will have to break the bank if they want to get the player they're so desperate to get. Speaking of willing to break the bank, we bring Chelsea back up into the news, who are waiting in the wings to pounce on this deal if it looks like Arsenal starts wavering on the potential winger. Now moving to a goalkeeper theme, both Manchester United and Ajax have both signed goalkeepers, with Jack Butland going to United on loan and Geronimo Rulli from Villarreal to Ajax. Both interesting case goalkeepers, both decently good in my opinion. United wanted a goalkeeper to replace Dubravka, so it'll be interesting to see how much game times Mr. Butland actually gets. And Geronimo Rulli, Ajax were having a bunch of problems in the back line, so it'll be interesting to see if he can solidify that. Speaking of Ajax, we now move to their ex-player Daley Blind, who left his contract quite recently, and he's about to sign for Bayern Munich. I tell you, that man has had some career, hasn't he? Manchester United, Ajax, and now Bayern Munich. Very interesting move for him. Staying in Europe, but we're moving to Portugal, and that is Sporting have signed the Argentinian talent Mateo Tainlongo on a free from Rosario Central. It'll be interesting to see if they can develop, Sporting like Benfica with Enzo Fernandez, can develop Mateo into a world-class player. He has a lot of talent and has the potential to be it, according to some, so it remains to be seen. And now I will go through some of the transfer rumours to end this transfer show, and we start off with one of the big ones, and that is João Felix. Now, what's the story with Felix? He wants out of Atletico. Atletico don't seem to mind losing him. But Atletico want 13 million in a loan fee. And that's what's stopping him from leaving, as the two clubs interested are Manchester United and Arsenal, who need strength in depth, but they don't want to overpay. Arsenal switching to a more sensible transfers, as we've seen in the last few windows with the signings that they've got, whereas United don't have money. So, I have to say on this deal, João Felix to leave Atletico, I'm going to say 6 out of 10. But whether he goes to Arsenal or United, I can only say 5 out of 10 for those two ones, based on the situation. If it goes down, we could switch up, but it's really 50-50 on who wants to fork up that money, or if they have let it go lower down said cash. Now we move on to a newspaper article by Gazzetta dello Sport, has said Chelsea, Tottenham and Manchester United are in for Denzel Dumfries. Now, what the hell is the story? Is the story for real? In personal opinion, I think this is some journalists going, United and Chelsea were interested in this deal in the summer. Surely with their current right-back situations, with Chelsea having injury problems there and United needing a backup for Dalot, and their whole story of them not thinking Aaron Wan-Bissaka is good enough for that. Surely they'll still be into him in January. But there's one slight problem with this. United have no money. And according to the report, this will cost around 60 million. So I can resoundingly say Dumfries to United in January, a whopping 0 out of 10. They just wanted to put United's name in that thing, clearly. But Dumfries to Spurs, I will give it a 4 out of 10. It's early days, but it is something stupid Spurs would do, even though they already have 4 right backs. It is the least of their problems, in my opinion. And Chelsea, who knows what Chelsea will do? Who knows what Todd will do? Todd Bowley is like a kid in a sweet shop with transfers, isn't he? With all the transfers he's done since taking over, he's just like, I'll have me a bit of that, I want a bit of that, bit of this, bit of that. So just for that reason alone, I'm going to also give it 4 out of 10. Also linked to United this week is Eric Choupo-Moting. And that is according to Sky Germany, which in my opinion is not the most reliable branch of Sky. But they reported that Manchester United are courting Eric Choupo-Moting. Now, what does that mean? What does courting mean? Or we just go, please, Eric, lend us some goals. We love you. Is that courting? What is courting? How do you court a player? We love you. Please be mine. Is that how you court a player? I have no idea what courting is. We will have to give a definition of how you court a player to join you pretty soon, but Eric if this happens, this man Eric Choupo-Moting is the definition of a man playing real life career mode. Stoke to PSG to Bayern Munich to potentially Manchester United. Dear God, give this man's agent a raise. But for me, I'll rate this a 4 out of 10, solely because it is something United's board would do. As I was finishing this, there's 2 stories that have popped up. One, that Spurs is going for Pedro Porro, a different right back than the one that I talked about in this one. So Pedro Porro to Spurs, they really want him, but it's whether they pay the price that Sporting want for him. So that being said, we are giving it a 5 out of 10. And finally, this story came out yesterday, and that is that Wout Weghorst to United on loan. Now, I could definitely see this happening. It is something 100% that I could see as a possibility. But Wout Weghorst to United at the moment, because there's 3 clubs that need to talk with this. That's United, Burnley, and Besiktas all have a say, because there's a buy option in Benfica's loan move for him for 10 million, so they need to be compensated for this. So with that being said, at the moment, because 3 clubs need to negotiate this, I am only giving it a 5 out of 10, but I can see this happening. That is all I have for this week of transfers. Maybe next time I will be saying 8 or 9 out of 10s. Who knows? Probably not. But that's me on the Transfer Show, Crazy Boom, signing off. Can't wait for more transfers. And remember, like, comment, and subscribe to keep up to date on all our socials, because we'll be bringing transfer stuff on pretty much most of them. Bye.